show continues.
We're back already. And we got Joe Rogan on the phone. What's up, Joe?
Hello, boy.
Joe. What's happening?
What the fuck?
Well, we're getting ready to go
fuck?
to Montreal, Canada. We're broadcasting live tomorrow and Friday. The first time that we're broadcasting outside of America.
Oh, that's beautiful. The Just for Laughs thing.
Yeah, we finally, after all these years, decided to do it.
Fun time. It's a fun hang.
Yeah.
The best thing about it is how many comics are up there. It's a good time.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it.
Absolutely. And we just learned about beaver tail. And you can make bacon out of beaver tail. Some guy was trying to turn us on to that.
They're crazy. That's not going to taste good.
And the guy said you got to slice it thick.
Yeah.
And we've just been talking about during the break how just disgusting that sounds.
Sounds putrid.
But he's trying to say, no, man, it tastes just like bacon.
But I don't think we're going to gross Joe out with anything.
Well, that's why I'm
Yeah.
bringing it up. There's a connection here to fucking weird shit that people
He's seen
eat.
some bad stuff.
I understand.
Yeah, I know a guy who ate beaver tail. Steve Ranella. He used to have this show on the Travel Channel called The Wild Within, and it was all about, like, he would do the same thing that Lewis and Clark did when they, like, travel across the country and, like, shoot animals and make boats out of moose hides and shit. And he ate a beaver tail, and it did not look good.
Oh, God, no.
It's
It looked like a last-ditch effort to stay alive sort of a thing.
Yeah. It just seems like it'll be gristly and fucking... Yeah.
It's all fat. Like bacon, the beautiful thing about bacon is it's fat, but there's also some meat, and that meat happens to be pork.
Yeah.
Like it's not a fucking rat. It's a giant fatty rat with a big stupid fish tail.
Big flat tail.
Yeah, it's a disgusting animal.
What do you think of that report about fish oil causing prostate cancer?
That's a very interesting report. The problem is it's only one report. These days it's really difficult to find out who's right and who's retarded.
Right.
Because there's so many goddamn reports these days, and they're so conflicting. Like stuff that's supposed to be really, really good for you turns out to be killing people. So it's like, I don't know. Who the fuck is right? I use fish oil on a daily basis.
You do, right?
All the time. It's so important for inflammation. For jiu-jitsu and things that cause a lot of inflammation from exercise, like knees and your elbows and your back. Fish oil is a miracle cure.
I try to read for my inflammation. Yeah, motherfucker. Oh, God.
Joe, I think you found the perfect fucking show, by the way.
Yes.
I'm very happy for you. And
thank you. Thank you very much.
And we're getting good reviews here in New York for the show, so I'm
really?
happy. Yeah, absolutely. It's called Joe Rogan Questions Everything, premiering on Sci-Fi tonight at 10.
Yeah, I hope it turns out good. I mean, I spent a lot of time working on it. It's really kind of stupid to have another gig. I have too much going on at this point in time. It's really, I don't even know how the hell I did it.
Now, what's the whole gist of the show?
The gist of the show is, it's sort of an extension of what I already do on the podcast. Mm-hmm. And the podcast is actually in every episode. The idea is I go out and like the first episode is about Bigfoot. I've been an idiot obsessed with Bigfoot since I was a little kid. So I actually go out, me and my pal Duncan Trussell, actually go out to the woods in the Pacific Northwest. We go looking for Bigfoot. We stayed out there. We went with professional Bigfoot hunters. We met with them. We looked at the evidence they gathered. We took their evidence and brought it to geneticists. And, I mean, we really tried to treat it as if...
Yeah, you went deep on this one.
We went super deep. We went full retard. It was really fun.
But the experts, were they a little strange?
Some yes and some no.
Really?
It's like what you find when you're looking for Bigfoot. Here's what you don't find: black dudes. Okay, it's all the same thing. It's all these unfuckable white guys in the latter half of their life.
Yeah,
that's what you're finding. You're finding dudes who are crossed over past the Great Divide of 40X whatever, and they're not getting any pussy whatsoever. So they're like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm going to go looking for Bigfoot. That's what I've always wanted to do.
What?
And so they go wandering through the woods, looking, knocking on trees. They have all these things that they do, like they believe. There's, first of all, almost no evidence of Bigfoot.
I know,
almost
that's
none.
just it, yeah.
And you find that out along the way. The best evidence is footprints. That's the best evidence.
Yeah, plenty of footprints around, but no bones, no piece of hide somewhere, or tools, or any of this shit.
Or a hat or a text message that one of them sent.
Yeah, it's an interesting subject. What's really interesting is that there used to be a real live Bigfoot.
Yeah.
The animal itself absolutely used to exist as recently as 100,000 years ago. It was called Gigantopithecus, and they found out about it in the 1920s at an apothecary shop in China. There's a guy who was an anthropologist who was searching through a pile of bones, and he found this gigantic primate tooth that he knew wasn't a gorilla, he knew wasn't a human being, and he was like, what the fuck is this? And he asked the people, and they said they knew where they found it, so they went to this particular area. They found more bones, including a jawbone, and they found through the design of the jawbone that this was an animal that was a bipedal animal. So it stood on two legs, and it was between 8 and 10 feet tall. It was a gigantic, huge, gorilla-looking thing. And so, it led them to this discovery of this animal that absolutely existed. And as I said, the most recent bone was 100,000 years ago. So the theory for the Bigfoot is that this animal came along the Bering Strait the same way people did into North America, and just the Pacific Northwest is so lush with life and plant life that they decided to stay up there. It is fucking freaky up there, I'll tell you that. When you go up in the Pacific Northwest, the amount of just completely undiscovered territory is massive.
You walk around and just think, like, I am the first person to step here, if not ever, in a very long time.
Yeah, when you fly over it, all the way from Alaska all the way down to Northern California, that's where all the sightings are.
Yeah.
It's really strange. And like I said, it could most likely be 100% bullshit, but it's also a real animal. I mean, it was real. It's like someone saying that we've been seeing a brontosaurus in the Congo for the past, 100 years. And you got to go, well, there used to be a brontosaurus. It's not likely. This is way, way, way more likely than that because this animal lived 100,000 years ago for a fact, 100%.
How far in the woods did you go?
Oh, we went deep. We were fucking. It was freaky, man.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. How freaky?
Mount Rainier. We went to Mount Rainier. What's really freaky is how many people who live up there in the woods have seen these fucking things. Like, not just like one, but like half the people. And some of them will tell you stories like normal people who didn't want to be on camera, normal people who had regular jobs, weren't crazy, and they're like, I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I saw it. It was chasing after an elk. It was gigantic. I was about 6 miles in. We were camping, and we saw this fucking thing. I saw it for 2 seconds. It was the craziest 2 seconds of my life. It was 100 yards away. It stepped between these two trees. I saw a giant gorilla, and I shit my pants, and I've never been the same.
Wow.
It's really weird, man.
And they don't want to go on camera.
Some of them don't want to go on camera.
Interesting.
Some of them do, and people were crying. We had a guy, this fucking guy was telling us a story. He starts crying.
Oh, pissy eyes.
Yeah, how?
Shit his pants.
Yeah, get a hold of yourself.
Jesus Christ.
Get a hold of
It's
yourself.
just a missing link, sir. Relax.
Yeah, relax.
Not like you caught your wife fucking it.
Well, that's, by the way, Jim, it's funny that you said that, because that's one of the primary theories when it comes to the genetics of this animal, is that they think that it's a hybrid. They think it's at some point in time, like one of the ancient relatives of man had sex with whatever the fuck this thing is, and that's why it's so smart.
But how does it? But even how would it reproduce? One guy could just do that and create a new species.
One girl. Well, it has been done. Some hybrids are fertile. It depends on how close the genome is, apparently.
Yeah. You need like the equal number of chromosomes or some shit.
Yeah, some
in the
shit,
reproductive cells.
some animals, some
Yeah.
hybrids actually. I mean, that is actually how some hybrids become a new species. I don't know. Look, I'm not convinced that it's real, but I'm not convinced it's not real either.
Well, we got a guy from Seattle agrees that Bigfoot is out there.
That's the area. See, Seattle,
Right.
Washington State has the highest amount of sightings, and that area around Mount Rainier has the highest amount of sightings in Washington State. In fact, the names of all these hills and valleys, all of them, like there's a giant amount of them that are all named after an ancient Indian word for Bigfoot.
Oh my God! Yeah, is there a mashup Nicole Mountain? She's got huge feet.
Let me put Matt on with Joe Rogan. Matt in Seattle. Go ahead.
Hi, Joe. I live like 25 miles out of Seattle, and I hike all the time. And yeah, there's some shit out there, dude. Like, I'm totally with you. I think
Dude.
But Matt, have you seen anything? You can't just.
I've seen I've seen markings on trees that are not like human or animalistic. Like there's some next level shit.
Well, one of the weird things they find in trees.
All right, Matt.
Thank you for the worst contribution possible.
Thank you.
Scientific. By the way, that's the kind of guy that's out there looking for Bigfoot.
Sure.
They weren't human or animal. That doesn't help
Seen
us.
some shit, man. It's impossible to do, man.
Right.
One of the things you find is tree branches that are like trees that are snapped off like 8 to 10 feet up instead of like at the bottom, like if you were pulling on a tree where it would snap. You see a tree like snapped in half. And you're like, well, how the fuck did that happen? And no one knows. It's a live tree. It's not a dry tree. And these things get snapped. Like, and also you see trees that are like stacked in these weird ways. And we found some of that deep in the woods. It's very fucking bizarre. It's very bizarre when you realize that you're talking about thousands of square miles of just like, you know how you open up a box of Q-tips and you see how many Q-tips are in there? That's what the fucking trees are like up there because it's raining constantly. It fucking never stops raining. So and when you're walking through the woods, you don't make any noises because below you are 5 to 6 feet of pine needles and leaves just massed down and compressed. So everything is like this big smushy cushion everywhere you go. It's really fucking freaky up there, man.
Is it 5 feet of pines? Wow, Jesus.
Pine needles and leaves and shit that falls from the trees because there's so much vegetation. It's really like one of the weirdest places I've ever been. It's like a completely different dimension.
Did you go into the whole rainforest?
Oh, yeah, we went deep in there.
I hiked the whole rainforest, but I mean, it was more like a day hike, but still. The amount of different shades of green you see as you're walking through this, through the rainforest is amazing.
Yeah,
and then you see huge trees that are easily 200 years old growing out of a tree that fell down.
Yeah.
You saw that shit, right? And you realize, holy fuck, we're so insignificant.
Yeah.
Our time on this earth is nothing.
Yeah, when you go 200 years ago and you think about how ridiculous that is, you're talking about 200 years ago is like nothing. That's
right.
a blink of an eye, and there wasn't even anybody here. Like people were just getting here, and the fucking stupid wagons with wooden wheels. They're like, we made it. Woo!
Yeah. These trees are so wide. I can't even. You have to see it for yourself, and then that tree fell. Then a little seedling gets in it, and then a huge, massive tree grows out of it.
Well, have you ever seen the redwood trees where they cut holes in them and you drive cars through them?
Yeah,
that's
crazy.
Drive cars through the bottom of a tree.
Yeah.
Did you camp out there, or
redwoods.
did you just go in and out in the same day?
Well, Duncan and I stayed at a hotel. We were smart. We went the Bear Grylls style.
Yeah.
We figured, look, we're going to be there till late at night, and then we'll sleep for a few hours in a hotel and then get back there in the morning. Like, why the fuck do we have to sleep on the ground out there like an asshole in a big cloth house? I mean, there's a lot of real shit to worry about out there, like mountain lions. Like, they're legit. I mean, there's plenty of food for them. Like, they probably wouldn't attack a person because there's so much elk up there to eat. Like, everywhere you go, you're stepping in elk shit. It's
really?
Everywhere. You see, we saw elk everywhere.
I saw elk. They're
big
massive.
wild cows.
Yeah, they're fucking massive.
Huge.
They're
everywhere.
huge, right?
Yeah, they're everywhere, and they make weird noises.
Yep.
They make a whistle. It's like, It's very strange.
Did you pet any?
Only with my cock, Jim.
I would love to pet an elk.
Now we got
I don't think they would let you. They would stomp you to death.
Oh, would they really? They're violent,
very
huh?
angry.
They're massively charged with testosterone.
Yeah, they're nasty. Jeff, New Hampshire, why do you never find Bigfoot skeletons? We kind of went over that.
Well, why do you never find bear skeletons? There's a lot of bear, in fact, thousands, but finding a dead bear is extremely rare. Finding a mountain lion, a dead mountain lion, even more rare. Real animals that we absolutely know about, you very rarely find dead. The only thing you find dead on a regular basis is like deer that have been hit by cars and things along those lines. You find those, but you very, very rarely find known animals dead in the woods because it takes only a short amount of time for things to go after them and devour them. Like if you leave a dead animal on the ground in the woods where all these rodents and coyotes and all these different animals live, they eat that fucking thing down to nothing in no time.
Even the bones.
Yeah, the nature has a really efficient way of getting rid of things. But the thing about Sasquatch, if it was a real animal, the suspicion is that they bury their dead.
So they have little burial forms so no one ever sees them.
But when you figure a couple of 100 years, if you look at it like that, like we've been on the West for 300 years, it's not like we've been there for 5,000 years. That's not that long a period of time where you wouldn't find something.
No.
Like, something could exist that we don't find in 300 years. That's not that crazy.
Well, especially when you go there and you realize what you're dealing with. I had never been, so I didn't really know what it was like up there. But when you go up there and you're walking through those woods, you're like, oh, no, it could fucking be anything up here. There could be almost anything up there. You see eagles. You see all kinds of freaky shit up there.
Wow. And this is the first episode.
Yeah, that's the first. One of my favorite subjects ever. That's the first one. And then we went, there was a bunch of different episodes. We went to New York and went to this transhumanist episode where it's all these people that want to live forever and download their consciousness into computers, and they have robot parts and very fucking freaky shit. That was interesting too.
That's Ray Kurzweil, right?
Yeah. We talked to him.
We had him on. He's a bit of a bore, but he's highly intelligent. I'll tell you.
Yeah, he's not the most excitable guy in the world.
But his concepts are pretty interesting.
Well, he's more accurate as far as his predictions for future technology than anyone in human history.
Did you see sorry, Joe, go.
No, I was just going to say, and he has a bunch of inventions that he's invented himself. I mean, he's the guy responsible for speech to text. When you talk into your phone and Siri answers questions for you, that's because of Kurzweil.
Did you see the documentary on him?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And did you see the part about the robots where the people working with the robots are scared shitless of the actual technology behind it? And they're basically saying, we got to shut down the program.
Oh, man.
They talked to these guys. I think it was Japan. It's been a few years now. But they were losing their minds going, you don't understand. We are heading into a dangerous fucking place with this technology.
Yeah, that's the guy who calls them artilects.
Yeah.
Artificial intellects. Yeah, it's interesting. You know, the idea that they would have the same sort of instincts as us, though, is kind of silly because the only reason we have these instincts is because we were raised biologically. It's natural selection forced us to, the survival of the fittest. There won't be any of those instincts. All the things that make human beings so fucked up are that we come from chimpanzee DNA. We come from this lineage of animals that were hiding in trees from jaguars and fighting for the best mate. I mean, all that shit is the reason why jealousy exists. And all these different emotions exist. It's all like they're all methods for continuing the genome. But that won't exist in a robot. That's why there's debate. It's like it's completely uncharted area.
Let me ask you, if that stuff's all true, like whatever it is that makes us us, like all those things you just said, isn't there a way to break it down eventually once we have DNA mapped into just pure chemicals, like this chemical causes that and that chemical causes this? So if it's broken down into a chemical thing, a formula can be figured out for it, which would make these like weird things that feel intangible in us not feel so random or weird at all. Which is where a robot might be able to. That's why I kind of believe Kurzweil when he talks about uploading us to hard drives, because once we're broken down into the most basic, figure-outable formula, that might be possible.
It it might be, or you know what else might be possible? What might be possible is that we're not even really here, and that's where it gets really strange when you start getting into the concept of virtual reality. When you get into the concept of the absolute, undeniable fact that there's going to come a point in time where you're able to create an artificial reality that is indiscernible from this reality. You can bang on it, you can pick things up, you can fuck, you can get shot in it, you can die in a car crash. All the different things that can happen to you in this life can happen to you in a simulated environment that's without a doubt, it's inevitable. It's coming. Whether it's 10 years from now or 100 years from now, they're going to be able to plug you into a virtual reality that you're not going to be able to tell. And then comes the answer, or the question rather, is it now? Is it already happened and you don't know?
Wow.
If it is, there is a artificial reality. If you are in a simulated environment, and it's so good that you can't tell the difference, how do you know if you're in it right now?
Wow.
That might be the future. That's what a lot of these guys are saying. They're saying it's not going to be a physical future where you can, you know, all of a sudden you're going to have robot feet. They're saying, maybe that'll be a little while, but after that, what gets really weird is the virtual world. The virtual world is going to be indiscernible. You're going to have no reason to go out there and become a fireman because you could just put on a helmet and be a fireman. You know, there's going to be no reason to be an Olympic athlete. You could be an Olympic athlete. You could program all those parameters into your brain and program it all into your artificial world that you live in. Like the real world of living in a world where, you know, you actually have to go dig a ditch and plant a tree, that might not exist in the future.
But then what goes on outside you? That like, who's programming the machines?
Exactly. I'll do you one better. It gets even freakier than that. If you create an artificial environment, if you create a simulation, and inside of that simulation you have real people that don't know they're in a simulation and continue on their lives the same way we are right now, and inside that simulation they create their own simulation, then simulations become fractal, just like the whole rest of the universe. If you look at the whole universe, inside of every atom, the way it is, it's very much like the universe itself. There's a massive amount of space in between the actual objects. So the universe itself is like the inside of an atom. The smaller you get, the more it mimics the biggest things that we know.
That is odd. I've always thought, you look at an atom and it's kind of like, you know, you got your nucleus, things rotating, spinning around it. It does resemble the solar systems and galaxies, which all do the same thing. Yeah.
What freaks me
Have you
out?
ever seen those? I'm sorry. Have you ever seen those photos of the universe in comparison to a brain cell?
No, does that look exactly the same, too?
A human brain cell looks exactly like our version of the universe.
That's so fucked up.
Wow.
Yeah, like these photos. You can download, look it up on the internet. There's photos of them side by side. They're like identical. Like the universe literally might be a brain cell inside of another being.
All right. Jesus.
Yeah. That's not, maybe, just the fact that the universe exists itself. People are like, oh, that's too much. Just the fucking universe itself is too much. 100 billion galaxies, each one with a supermassive black hole in the middle of it. It's 0.5% of the mass of the galaxy. And if you go inside that black hole, you go into another universe. They believe that inside every black hole is, in fact, a whole nother world, a completely different universe filled with hundreds of billions of galaxies, each one the same way with a supermassive black hole in it. And if you went into that, you'd go into a whole nother universe.
Okay, that's fucked up.
It's fucking too much.
Jesus.
What in
We're
physics
tiny.
is it that it's very small? Obviously, it's like, you know, quantum physics, where the molecules that were being observed behave differently than the molecules that weren't being observed. Do you know what I'm talking about? That
I saw that.
Joe
is
turned
really
us onto
weird.
that video.
Oh, was it Joe who did? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What was that?
Well, what gets really, it's the observer, the concept that when you measure particles and waves, when you measure them, they're different than when you don't measure them. When you observe them, they behave more strangely and different than if you're not observing them. And I actually talked to this scientist from JPL 2 days ago about this, and he was trying to explain it to me, but I'm too fucking stupid to understand it exactly. But apparently there's a way to detect whether or not something is changing because of being measured, or whether it's changing because someone is participating in watching it. And when someone's participating, the results are different. When a person is watching it.
Do we give off something when we watch that we don't know?
That's possible, yeah. But it's also possible that our own intent actually affects the quantum world around us. Like the woo-woo Deepak Chopra shit, you know, you create your own environment. Your environment is a product of your consciousness. When they say that kind of shit, and you're like, okay, I don't even know what the fuck this guy's saying, there might be something to that. You may very well affect your environment by your presence.
Fuck.
Yeah, that one really was freaky.
It's just shit we don't know about. We'll never know.
By the way, that's how dumbbells would always wind up a physics conversation. One goes, that's freaky, and the other one goes, there's a lot of shit we don't know.
We just don't know. We just don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Joe, so this show's going to be great, man. Joe Rogan Questions Everything, premiering on Sci-Fi tonight at 10. Any other, quickly just run through some of the other topics we can look forward to seeing on the show.
We did a test with a bunch of people that are. Do you guys know what remote viewing is?
No.
Yeah, I used to hear about it on Art Bell.
Yeah, exactly. Art Bell's awesome. I love that show.
Yeah.
But remote viewing is actually something that our own government, the CIA, had a remote viewing program for almost 20 years. And what these people did was they sat down and could tune in to an area in the world and draw with a certain degree of accuracy the various aspects of it. They could actually find out things that were going on in the world. And I met with this guy Ed Dames, who's one of the head guys in this ancient remote viewing program, and he claims that they found Osama bin Laden long before the government ever acted, and he believes that they didn't act because the government wanted to continue the war. They actually didn't want to find Osama bin Laden. It was a very interesting conversation.
Does Ed Dames, I used to hear him on Art Bell too, does he offer any kind of proof or data on that, or is it, because that almost sounds like a more political ideology that he's kind of espousing there?
Yeah, you're right, it does. No, when I asked him about actual specific stuff, he's a slippery guy.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot there. And I wonder how much of it is, how much you can actually talk about, what's actually classified. But they apparently did find some Russian submarine that was unknown at the time and enormous and had a very specific design that's different from any submarine that they had heard before, that had been built on the American side before. I don't know, though. I don't really... It seems it's like all those things when people tell you about psychics. There's always an air of fuckery about it. Like you hear the story and you go, okay, what? He knew about your grandmother? Yeah, I went to the psychic. He told me all about my grandmother. And you go like, don't you know about your grandmother?
Right.
Does anybody ever tell you some shit you don't know? Because they always seem to tell you some shit that you already know. So then I want to go...
It's the only way it works, right?
I wish I was in that conversation, because you might be an idiot. That guy might be like a good con artist, and he might be posing questions in these very leading ways, and you might fall right into his traps. He might just be really good at getting you to give up information.
Why does the dead person always say something with love or I'll miss you? How come the dead person never says anything stupid?
Right.
Like, what did my grandmother say? She said my cunt itches. That's all she came out with.
Well, Terrence McKenna had a funny line about that where people were channeling, and it was listen, just because you're dead doesn't mean you're smart.
Right.
You don't just become smart all of a sudden when you die. If you're dealing with a person who's a reflection of who they were when they were alive, it's very likely you're talking to a dead idiot.
Right. and the message is always vague.
Oh
yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
Horseshit.
Of course it's horseshit.
It's
I want specifics.
It's like I said about the unfuckable white dudes. It boils down to the same sort of thinking, and that thinking, by the way, doesn't just exist in this. It exists in almost all of these weird mysteries, like people that believe in chemtrails and people that believe in a lot of other nutty shit. They want mysteries to be real. They want them to be real, and they have confirmation bias to the point where they ignore all the information that points to that this might not be true.
Did you ever talk to Richard C. Hoagland?
No, I haven't talked to him, but I've watched his lectures. That guy's bananas.
Yeah, he's the guy who's obsessed with the face on Mars, despite better pictures showing us a bunch of mountains. He still goes, no, look, you can see the fedora. It's like, no, you can't. You're out of your fucking mind.
Well, he also does these weird measurements where he says if you go from this rock to that rock, it's exactly this distance. The same distance from the tip of the pyramid to the foot of the paw of the Sphinx. Oh. Like, he makes these weird...
Yeah, which make no sense.
Why did you do that, though?
Yeah, anyone could make anything the same distance. Right. You just measure things that don't even go together.
Yeah, they just choose to measure distances and arbitrarily throw them all together. It's all the same thing. There's a lot of real mysteries in the world, but there's also a lot of muddy thinking.
Yeah, that's the problem with that stuff, is like, because there are so many interesting things that people, instead of just finding the data that disproves the mystery, they obsess and ignore the data that disproves it and harp on the teeny bit of data that is a little bit ambiguous and could support it.
Exactly. That's why they call it confirmation bias, that you lean towards things that confirm your belief. And that's a huge part of what you find when you start looking into all these things, whether it's UFOs. That's the other thing, the UFO people. We investigated UFOs. There's almost no evidence, like almost none. There's a few, like, photographs that could be fucking anything, and there's a few people that say there's some radar information. Maybe, but there's not, like, one really hard piece of data, like not one piece of metal that you could bring somewhere and someone can go, that's not from this planet. There's not one thing that we can't do here. And then there's also the reality that the United States government and other governments have been experimenting with experimental aircraft that they haven't told people about from the beginning of fucking time. I mean, all this shit that we have today that looks crazy, like the stealth bomber, at one point in time was just an experiment. So they had to fly the experiments. And people would, if you ever seen a stealth bomber in real life flying around?
Looks just like a UFO, I mean, if you see it.
It's awesome. They're amazing looking. We were at, when I was filming Fear Factor, it was right after September 11th, so they were flying a lot of those out of the Air Force Base out near Palmdale, which is where we did a lot of the stunts, and every day you would see a fucking UFO fly overhead.
Nice.
It was amazing, this big black disc, and that's what a stealth bomber is. They look like looks like right out of Star Wars.
Or the Harrier jets, I think they're called, that hover. I mean, there's all kinds of things that what we finally see. The only issues I have with UFOs is a couple of things. One, isn't the guy who started Project Blue Book, who set out to disprove, or he was headed Project Blue Book, set out to disprove UFOs and wound up becoming convinced that they existed. I don't know how true that is.
His name is J. Allen Hynek. Yeah, he started Project Blue Book and was actually hired to debunk things. They gave him very specific parameters, he says. Like, if you find something, call it swamp gas. If you find something else, call it ball lightning. Never, whatever you do, say that it could be from another world. And so he investigated a bunch of things and then went on to do this Project Blue Book thing and went on to write books. But the problem with these guys is it becomes their career.
Yep.
They make a living off of it. They go to these conferences and they make money, and they write books and they make money. So it gets into that weird area, like, all right, maybe. But I feel like as we're moving forward with space travel, one of the things that you realize is we're concentrating less and less on sending actual living beings into space, and much more on probes. So when you see, like, a lot of these things that are flying around in the sky that, like, people attribute to UFOs, isn't it much more likely that that's some drone that the government's working on, something that can do things that you couldn't do if you had a person inside of it?
I'll tell you what's hard to discount, too, is when pilots will occasionally, you'll hear their transmissions, and they're talking about something flying, and the flight patterns that this thing or what it's doing in flight really throws them for a loop. That's kind of hard for me to, because they understand how engines work, they understand how aerodynamics works in aircraft. They understand all of that.
But again, it makes a lot more sense that it would be something earthly, unmanned. If you told a guy that was flying a prop plane from World War I about a jet engine, and you showed him a jet, he'd lose his fucking mind and think it was something from outer space.
Yeah, if you showed him one of those Chuck Yeager supersonic jets that make that cloud as it passes through the sound barrier.
Yeah.
They'd be like, that's not from this planet.
Yeah, that can't be from this planet. It doesn't even have a propeller.
Photos?
Yeah.
Those photos when they pass through the sound barrier and
it's amazing.
Cloud is around the jet. It's fucking nuts.
Yeah, big fucking like a funnel coming off of the front of the plane.
I've never seen that.
And the back.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, when you pass the sound barrier, you make this boom, and there's a visual thing that happens that you could see in these photos of these jets going so fast that it warps the sound around them. It warps the air around them.
Didn't the Concorde do that?
Yeah, the Concorde was supersonic.
I would love to have flown on that once before they started getting cracks in the wings.
I wish it was the one leaving France.
I figured that. I was assuming that's the one you'd hope I purchased a ticket on, but I would prefer the fucking British Airways.
Yes.
Well, you guys know about what they're trying to do with this new supersonic tunnel between Japan and New York, or between China and New York. They're going to do a bunch of these different, they run on some sort of form of magnetism that's going to be able to go thousands of miles an hour. It's to be a train where you can go from New York to China in 2 hours.
Wow.
How are they going to build that?
They're going to dig a hole, I guess, the same way they made the Holland Tunnel. How the fuck did they do that?
That will take forever.
How the fuck did they make the Holland Tunnel?
Good point.
But is that easier than just making aircraft?
20 million Holland tunnels.
It's freaky, but all the shit we already have is freaky. I mean, how the fuck did they make any train? When back when trains were first made, they thought if you went over 35 miles an hour, people would just explode.
Yeah, they thought you'd die. It was fatal to go that fast.
You're never gonna make it. Oh,
man will surely perish.
Yeah. What if you could ride a horse and that's where it ends?
But the aircraft we have, like Branson has, that can leave the atmosphere now. I'm not sure. Why wouldn't they just develop that to go to China faster, where you leave the atmosphere, pick up speed? They said they could be to New York and L.A. in an hour doing that if it's developed right.
Well, that is possible, but there's also a lot of shit that's up there that you would maybe fly into, like other planes. It's hard to get out of the way of a bird when you're going 17,000 times sound. You hit a flock of seagulls, and the fucking whole plane comes down. They have to shoot birds down in some airports. When you have a high bird population, they actually hire snipers to take the birds out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and PETA people get all pissed off. They get angry because why are you killing these birds? Stop flying! What are you doing? But that's the reality of air travel. That. Wasn't that the thing, the miracle on the
Sully? Yeah, he killed a bunch of geese.
Yeah, geese murderer.
Yeah,
a fucking plane flies into a pack of birds or a flock of birds, and they go into the engine. The engines explode.
Yeah, he's seen as Hitler by geese. Both engines through a flock. Yeah. Well, yeah, you're right, though. Maybe taking off at that speed, you would run into something.
Not only that. How about the satellites? You ever seen one of those maps of satellites that are
it's crazy. There's so much shit up there.
So much shit. It's overflowing with shit.
I want to see Gravity, that movie with Sandra Bullock and Clooney, where they're on the space station and some debris hits them and they're fucking. That looks unbelievable. Have you seen trailers for that?
No, I haven't seen that.
Look up the trailers for Gravity. It looks really fucking great.
Well, you know what they're trying to do now, with the space station? They're developing these things that are they're inflatable houses in space. They're these things. They're instead of a solid space station that you have to piece together out of here's a wall and there's the roof and all of it comes together. They're inflatable, and they have 2 of them that are already in orbit.
Really?
Yeah. There's Bigelow Ranch. There's a guy at Bigelow, the same guy who, by the way, is the one who investigates claims for the government now when it comes to UFO sightings. This guy's a UFO enthusiast and some super billionaire who also runs this aerospace company that develops these inflatable, some incredibly thick, powerful material that they use for the walls that's better at withstanding micrometeor impacts than the space station is.
Huh. Wow.
Yeah, because that's all you need is a fucking, one asshole brings up a safety pin.
Oh, I didn't know. I had a pencil in my pocket and popped the house.
Well, Joe, you never disappoint, man. Holy fuck.
I'm looking forward to this show, man.
Absolutely.
I think you get good reviews, which I was happy for you.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it. I didn't know it got any reviews, but that's awesome. I'm psyched.
Yeah, Joe Rogan Questions Everything premiering on Sci-Fi tonight at 10. And, of course, the podcast going strong, one of my favorites. And it's on 3 times per weekend here on our channel, which is very, very cool.
Hey, thanks for that. It's an honor. I really appreciate being on with you guys. You guys are the shit.
And I have one question, an opinion. What do you think about December 28th, the Silva-Weidman rematch?
Oh, that's going to be fucking very interesting. I think, nobody expected the result except maybe the Weidman camp, but nobody expected it to go down that way where, Silva was fucking around and doing the taunting and gets clipped and knocked unconscious. But when a guy knocks you out once, that guy can probably do it again. Will he do it again? I don't know, but he's going to be confident as fuck, and that's not even his strong suit. Weidman's strong suit is the ground. He's a really good wrestler, 4-time All-American, and his submission game is like world class. He's a bad motherfucker.
Right.
He could submit anyone in the world if he gets him into a good position. But Anderson Silva is Anderson Silva, and there's a reason why everybody called him the greatest fighter ever. It's because up until that fight, he eliminated guys with spectacular results, like front-kicking people in the face and knocking them unconscious. People that nobody beat before, he ragdolled and treated them like they were dog shit. I mean, he's the greatest ever. But, there's in every sport, there comes a time when it's over, and there comes a time when someone's got your number. Whether or not that was just him fucking around, he got caught, and he'll come back and destroy Weidman in the rematch and let everybody know he's still the king. And, the king just got a little bored, he got silly, and he got clipped, and now he knows. There's that, too. But it's going to be fucking crazy exciting, I'll tell you that.
It's a no-lose for the UFC because if Weidman wins, all of a sudden he's almost this legendary fighter now who everyone's going to see fight again. And if Silva wins, it's like, oh, okay, Silva's back.
Well, then then you got to go for the third fight.
Go for a rubber match.
Oh, yeah.
Depending upon the way it goes down, of course. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'll tell you that. Who the fuck knows what's going to happen, but it's going to be crazy exciting.
I can't believe I'm asking you this, but I'm gonna. There was does Weidman have his balls or something? Did he lose his balls or his dick?
What?
Okay, all right.
Why?
What are you talking about?
I saw it on, of course, Twitter or something.
Oh,
there was some weird rumor. Okay, all right. I figured I'd go right to the main guy.
Well, I haven't seen his balls or his dick, but I'm assuming they're there until told otherwise.
But how lazy am I that I didn't Google it after I read this tweet to fucking figure it out myself?
Going, yes, I win, Opie. Oh, you.
That probably would have come out before.
No kidding.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. All right, you guys. I got to get the fuck out of here. I love you.
All right, man.
Absolutely.
See you soon, bro.
Later, Joe.
10 o'clock
February,
tonight.
Next time I'm in New York, so I'll be in studio.
Great. We'd love to have you.
All right, buddy.
Obviously.
Take care, guys.
Thanks,
Bye, Joe.
Joe Rogan.
Yeah, he's great, man.
Big-hearted death squad all over the fucking place.
He's a great
Oh, my God. He's fat.
talker. Really, really interesting dude.
He was made for radio. You kidding me?
Yeah. His podcast is great. I mean,
Well, it's radio.
It's legitimately good.
It's radio. It's just new radio.
Yep.
It's made for us.
What do you guys think about me wearing the sunglasses
He's a guy.
indoors?
It's terrific.
That's good luck.
Perfect.
Good luck for you.
I lost my good ones, so now I got these pieces of garbage.
Yeah. I sit next to you on the airplane.
Yeah, lucky you.
Can I get the window?
Yeah, he likes aisle.
I like the
Perfect.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
He's one of those rare guys that actually likes the aisle
Yeah,
seat.
'cause I tinkle a lot.
And then what are you like alone? Because I think there's
two and
one seat, and then the aisle, and then two seats.
I'm probably a lone guy.
Yeah.
Probably in the one.
You guys, I'll be happy to sit alone if you guys want to sit together. And
That's
talk.
okay.
If you guys want to be a team, I'm fucking more than happy to take
That's
the
okay.
fucking one.
I'm just gonna crash out. It's only an hour. And
Oh, you're
stuff,
not?
but
Yeah, good luck with that.
I'll go to sleep. You watch me.
Yeah? You are
No,
not.
Ant sleeps through everything.
Oh
Yeah.
no, Edgar though, that
Shut
could be a
up.
rough one.
Wake up.
Shit, Deb.
I want to tell. I'm the pilot. I've been fired.
I'd be honored to sit next to you.
I wouldn't mind at all. Obviously.
I'm going to keep this going where we're
good.
getting along. Actually, me and Ant, we shared a moment yesterday. We both had cars leaving the city, and
Oh,
fuck,
God,
Ant
that was funny.
rules.
That was
Ant was
funny.
like, Anthony and Well, I didn't. I almost said your car. You probably don't want to say it.
Yeah, the Escalade.
Okay, the Escalade. It's like a fucking. It's like a plow.
Oh man.
Man, if you're lucky enough to be behind Anthony in city traffic, it's the best. It's like one big, huge plow. Like everything gets out of your way.
I was fucking zigging and a zagging,
and I'm like, I was feeling good because I'm like right on your back bumper.
Yeah, you're
all the way to the tunnel. I was happy. And then we get to the tunnel, and I'm like, I'm going to continue this. We got through the toll booth, and I think he's downplaying it. He instantly went up to 100 miles an hour. and I couldn't see him less than 30 seconds. Like, he went through the toll, then I went through the toll. Less than 30 seconds, I couldn't see his car anymore.
That's where you make up all that time you fucking lost through the streets of Manhattan.
I was still going 70 to 80 miles an hour, so you had to be going close to 100 miles an hour.
I think I was.
That thing disappeared, man.
Yeah. I found some. I found some really good openings too. Like I saw like, oh man, I could go to the right lane. I passed everybody, and then right back into the left, no one in front of me. So I was able to go pretty fast for a long time.
All right, we got a very, very special guest on our hotline.
Oh my,
a very special guest.
Cool. Bonjour.
Oh. Wow.
It's our mystery guest.
Ooh. A mystery? What a mystery.
This is our mystery guest. Are you in the industry, sir?
Yes, I am.
You are.
It's not Colin Quinn.
I'm flying up today. I just want to wish you guys a safe flight. I hope your plane doesn't horribly crash and burn on the runway.
Yeah, that would suck.
Like that. I would be screwed up if you guys ended up in a bloody, seeming steel and, died. It would be horrible.
What time is your flight?
Hope it's safe. My flight's a safe flight, 11 o'clock. The afternoon flights are supposed to have a little mechanical problem. So
no.
Why aren't we all flying together? It should be a plane full of nut jobs.
Yes, big stars.
Full of laugh inducers.
Yeah.
Laugh inducers.
There's probably some kind of law because the pilot would just be laughing too hard to fly the plane.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cracking up at our sketches.
Oh, yeah. Our skits.
You doing our show tomorrow, Colin?
No, on Friday. Tomorrow.
Oh, Friday?
I have something to do, yeah.
Okay, great.
What do you got to do tomorrow?
Oh, man.
I got to do the keynote speech, the big speech.
What time is that?
1.
Oh, I want to go to that.
Oh, you got to. It's going to be a real blue ribbon event.
Okay, so your keynote speech is at 1 o'clock on Thursday, so I will be going to that.
Yes, let's all
I
go.
believe it.
Oh. Keynote speech.
Hey, would you like to try some beaver tail bacon?
Oh, I don't know about that.
Some guy was trying to turn us on to beaver tail bacon. He says it tastes just like bacon.
Who was it? Carlos Danger?
Dude, what?
Did you hear about that? What the fuck, right? Go ahead, go.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
Go ahead, go.
What a disgrace.
What a disgrace is right.
You can't have a mayor doing that. I mean, really, honestly.
You know what I was saying all day? His name should be Carlos Peca.
Yeah, that's a good one, Chip.
Wow.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
Because instead of danger, he was sending pictures of his pecker and stuff.
There's it shows lack of judgment is what it is. A mayor
That joke, yes, it does.
Yes, that shows there's a complete lack of humor. You can't have a mayor that's doing that. I mean, who gives a shit what he's doing if he's, working the job site? He's doing the sheetrock in someplace in the conch. But for the love of God, you can't be the mayor of New York City with the judgment that poor.
No, it's kind of crazy.
And his dumb wife just standing there next to him, smiling.
What's she going to say? You know what I'm saying?
She's going to say, take a fucking hike.
No way.
No.
She's got her own little hopes and dreams.
Yeah, well, that's true. She does have some
you didn't realize
aspirations.
That the sympathy of whatever her name is, Huda, whatever her name is.
I didn't think you'd have the sympathy either.
The other angle on the wife.
Well, you do. We went the other way.
This is what I like to do. I like to bring the show to a screeching halt.
No, it's
congratulations.
Where's your show? Where is your thing?
I don't like the fact that my show, I was thinking, my show, I'm kind of off the seas, things are pretty good. Then Chappelle just says, I don't know, maybe I'll come up. And they're like, okay, well, we sold 40,000 seats tonight, just in case you decide to come up.
Wow.
Guys, that was meant to be amusing. I'm sorry you took it so seriously.
Sorry.
Well, no, he
wow.
could sell a lot of. Everybody I know has got something going on but me. I'm fucking. Mark Maron got season 2 on IFC, and Rogan's got his show, and Louis got season 3, and fucking everybody's getting seasons.
Oh.
Yeah. What the hell have I got?
Yeah.
Fuckhead.
Well, you got at least a one-man show you're doing of new material.
Shut up! You're on the radio every day.
Exactly.
Yeah, you got a good gig, Jimmy.
Yeah, I know.
It's a good gig.
It's a great gig,
You
but
get a little gratitude.
I mean TV. It's time for my face to be seen.
Yeah.
It's time for my face to be
I'll be
seen.
honest with you. I was talking to Keith Robinson about your face only 2 days ago, and I realized, I spent a lot of time. My girlfriend lived in Coney Island when I was in high school. I spent a lot of time in Coney Island, and I do think, and I'm not kidding, you're descended from the Pinhead tribe somehow. Because even with your weight loss, most people lose weight and their head gets big and they look weird.
Yeah, like
your
right
head's
now.
shrinking as you lose weight.
Well, I'm a small guy. I'm a little
You're
fella.
a pinhead. You're a pinhead.
I'm a little man.
Like Zippy the Pinhead, yes. He's a circus act.
Did Keith defend me, or did he agree with your analysis?
Oh, boy.
Come on.
Jesus.
Yes, Keith has known to flip sides on occasion during a conversation.
Knock it off, Colin. He's good.
Yeah, come on, man. Let's be supportive.
Little head.
You're right. That's exactly right.
Yeah, of course. As he boxes every day and gets fatter. Keith really is a miracle. It's like, what do you dip your boxing gloves in chocolate and fucking punch each other?
Shit.
All right, guys. I'll see you up there.
Yeah,
Sounds
man.
good,
I'm going to see your show when I'm up
Very
there.
good.
So I'll see you tomorrow.
Allah Akbar. See you.
Bye.
All right. Colin Quinn, everyone.
Allah Akbar.
Yeah, let's go pee.
All right. Let's go.
The Opie and Anthony Show on Sirius XM.